a little bit motivated to come on by a little quote I've seen online that says, "Your ancestors didn't have therapy. They had forests, mountains, deserts and oceans." And the reason why I think it's hitting home quite big at the minute is I've had the honour to connect with different communities here, and one in particular that's doing some work on mweria, rotational labour. And so you never sort of know what they're going to be doing when you turn up with, planting cassava or various other bits and bobs, which is all equally interesting and really new for me to observe and learn. I really full joy. It's, I guess, I used to work for a grassroots organisation in Italy that focused on sort of supporting local communities and biodiversity and upholding traditional agricultural methods and food products. And it was always a way, even though I'd moved away from that as a job or career or whatever people want to call it these days, is a vocation, is that wherever I would travel around the world, they had a global network. And I remember meeting when I had the opportunity and the fortune to go to Mauritius, I met a fantastic permaculture guide and just all round, just guardian of the realm and the earth, called Denis. And there were people dotted around the globe right now that are connected to that organisation, and that whenever I travelled, my interested, maybe as a Taurian, a bull, a earth being, earth dweller, fairy, I'm always interested in just like what people grow and how. And not that I've ever been an avid grower myself. I did try the allotment thing. I grew when I was living with my mum back briefly. She won't say briefly. And we set up the garden allotment. So I have it experienced, but being nomadic, that's the it's going to sound desirable. That's the fact, the reality check. The facts are we don't have a permanent plot to grow. So that's why I get drawn to those who are doing it, because I want to feed into that energy and show love and appreciation just for how. And I think that's why I've ended up in the particular area that I'm living in this time, which is different to last time, is because I'm near the farmers, I'm near a lot of the labour, I'm near a lot of what the mweria that they're growing, and which is also surrounded by incredibly sacred baobabs. And it's I feel, oh God, I don't know where this emotion's coming up. I feel really honoured to know farmers and to be around people that want to live a more sustainable life and just get back to the land and just respect nature and have this symbiotic, this co-creative energy and connection to the seasons and just to our food, what we need to nourish, and simplifying the ways that we consume. And so this quote sort of has rung in my head all day today, because I connected with these ladies. It tends to be a lot of the women, the matriarch as part of them. It feels very, very beautiful and very, very calming for my heart as a woman. I have assumed, given it to myself, but I hear it from people, assume the role of an elder. I am embodying, I believe, an authentic, holistic example of how we can overcome challenges in our life and become better, more self-loving beings in the realm, in the earth. And so being around these women is very they're so connected. I mean, obviously earthing when you don't wear shoes all day, when you're just sitting and time is not dictated in the ways that we know. So there's obviously, whenever we live in different countries, we have a level of unlearning and deprogramming to sort of adjust to the new ways that people experience life on that land. And being around these women is whether they know how to receive my energy or not, whether they can see me or not, it's not of my egotistic, ego. It's not my concern. It's I come as a witness and observer of the skill, patience, and dedication to living and life that people have, and in overcoming their own personal challenges and community challenges. And got the chance to make Makuti, which was a surprise. I thought we were going to do some sort of physical work or planting, but we sat down to Makuti is like how you can build ceilings and roofings in shelter with the palm leaves and sisal, so grass, which they chop down here and sort of all over the land that I'm on. It's spiky. Originally I thought it was like pineapple, because anyway, it looks similar to summer spikes, but it's grass. And it's also, I believe, what they sort of integrate into their syntropic agroforestry when they're laying on that sort of 5 different beds, 5 different structures, on their little chambers, on their sort of kitchen gardens, or bigger plots of land. And so I was shown how to get the wood. You stick it sort of, they all sit sort of up, very upright. It's incredible. They can just sit upright with their legs out, and their posture's great, and there's just no qualms. They just sit in one position for that time. For me, I had to sort of sit a little bit on my knees. I had to move around, like I'm just not used to that position. But it's obviously they've got this incredible connection through, I think, chakra, like high guidance, and through to the earth. And so you put this little wood piece through your big toe and your and then you hold it, and then you sort of pick 1 or 2 or 3 pieces of palm leaf, dried palm leaf, and then you sort of wrap it round, and then you tie a piece of this sisal, this grass, which becomes a sort of fibrous, sometimes sticky, depends on how moist it is, but then you just plait things. And she was, the lady Agnes, she was showing me, and seeing this quote saying your ancestors didn't have therapy, they had forests, mountains, deserts and oceans. It was a therapy session. Sitting with these ladies under the palm trees in the shade, which is great because it's a very hot environment between, in the afternoons here for me to function in the ways that I'm used to, but I'm obviously acclimatising. They were, it's not that it was silent, because they're speaking the language, Swahili, and I am learning in a very slow way, but my brain can only cope with certain levels of thing at the minute, and there's mass transmutation, so I have to just input energy into wherever I'm able to, and I definitely intend and am learning slowly. But there's no but. It's just the energy. There was no competition. There's no competitive element. I mean, I can't say that there never is, because I'm not in the communities and I'm not speaking the language, but the energy was very, very grounded. It was very harmonious. When you're a solo traveller and things, it's not like necessarily like the girls just hang out. I know I've always had female friends, but not big groups, and I've sort of struggled to make some female relationships over the years. It's been a lot of triggering, a lot of testing situations, and I always love to meet sisters wherever I go, and it's few and far between. So even just having, not that I call these women my friends, but as being in their energy, being in the feminine, like the matriarchal energy around me, felt, I felt my nan, and I felt a lot of the ancestors, and I felt, things you can't explain. And so that talking therapy, or whatever the West has become in terms of, just making money and getting dependence on you to be hearing and listening out problems is just a deflection from getting back to self. You're putting your hands into somebody else to give them to get their advice when you've got no idea what goes on behind closed doors in someone else's life, what they're taking accountability for or not. And I'm not saying all practitioners are the same and people don't do things that you find healing in, but this is one observation of the difference between I guess how societies evolve or become civilized, in that we can overtalk shit so much, and just doing a simple, it's that, you know, a lot of people that I've connected with, and not the first one to say it, all over Instagram, people that are getting back to foraging or craftsmanship and baking, and just these beautiful natural ways of working with hands and natural produce and natural products. And no, I'm not plastic free, you know, I'm trying to be mindful and conscious, but I'm also part of a bigger system that is changing, and we have yet to see over the next decade how that unravels. But it was therapy in this little circle, so I trust that. I think the main share was just to say is that nature has so much healing for us, and fresh air in our flats and our rooms, and just having a little plant here or there, or if we have minimal space or don't feel like we have access to nature, and is to make the time, is to create a way of having, if it can't be daily, which it really needs to be at the minute if we're meant to be transmuting what's coming through. It is very, very, very intense for many of us. Maybe all of us, it's just a lot of people aren't doing the self-observation, so they won't be feeling the cellular transformation in the ways that other people have or are feeling. Anyway, that's a whole another piece of work, learning, that I don't really want to go into now. So I want to give thanks and pay my respects to people and communities who continue to learn or revive old practices, because we say, oh, you know, we've got a new system, new method. A lot of that is we're going back. We are going back to some of the ancient ways, to the elemental, to the original ways. We have to blend. I'm not saying we can, you know, it's at the age of technology, AI, and age of Aquarius. So, you know, there's things that we are going to have to witness, and we can decide how much we rely or interact with those technologies or not. There's a few people that want to speak now, so I think I'm going to go. I would just want to give thanks to the farmers and to people, and now all of the souls who are creating and carving ways to learn, relearn, to become conscious or continue to be conscious consumers, to grow, even if it's just one herb. You know, we've just got to start. We've got to do something more with all the energy that's coming through us, with our hands, just getting back to creating or exchanging energy with the elements. But this is my perspective. It ain't going to be everybody else's, but I would like to share the harmony and the love that I felt in my heart from those moments doing the Makuti. The first time, it's not, you know, was doing it too hard at one point and hurt my little finger. And it's just all learning, you know, perfection doesn't exist, and it did feel like there was just no competition there. People got on with it. And the West has created so much competition with people that really, like, even me sharing my story, you know, knocks or triggers other people. And it's really funny that happens. I guess that's part of the role that we play. But everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves happiness. Everybody deserves a piece of land to grow a small thing. Everybody deserves the to be able to tap into the willingness and the enthusiasm for being alive and growing something and making something ourselves, and not always outsourcing and buying and buying new and, you know, recycling, refurbished. So there's so many amazing people and things that are going, movements that are going on now, that it'll be really interesting to see how that all unravels for the people, really, and that we're all guided and looked after at these very, very intense times. And I really believe that the restoration of the matriarchy, the recognition of women's role in society post-patriarchal domination is potent healing, is beautiful, because we all need the Divine Mother, we all need the matriarch, the mother energy. And as I said before in another channel, like, anybody that does not respect the mother, the woman, the sister, the daughter, and this is no as we all must be respecting the men in the way, this is not above or below, this is just equality, knowing that we both have different strengths and missions in our lives and roles, and I mean, I'm quite traditional, but anyway, with different strengths. And it was funny, actually, because this is a side note, and I don't want to bring, well, this is the polarity of it. I was in an experience recently, and there was digging involved, and some of the females, sort of got upset or made a comment that I wasn't doing as much as them or whatever, and some of the men were doing it and they're better at it than me. I got no issue saying that, or needing to prove myself as a woman that I could do it better or just as much as a man. I just don't care. Like, men are stronger in certain ways, and so are women in certain ways. So this competitive stuff that's come over from the West and the wounded self really needs to be left and like just disintegrate now and released, because I out here competing with anybody. It's an invisible competition in someone else's head. And these women humbled me, very patient with me, a lot tender love and care in different ways that I've been grown up with and known, but beautiful to observe and witness, and lots of laughter and piss taking as well, which is always welcome in those learning environments. So we need to be able to laugh at ourselves, even if we're getting feedback and all that. There's a lot of defensive energy that's being released in the collective at the minute. 18 on the clock. I didn't mean for this to go on so long. It started out about therapy and nature, and I guess it ends on just let's find our solace, let's find our peace with a tree or in the water, but just elemental connection right now. And I give thanks to the elders, the conscious elders. 1818.